everybody, and welcome back to another video. And if you're here for the very first time, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Jane. My husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees. We've got no debt. We've paid off the mortgage and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany and Northwest France. And every Wednesday we invite you in for a midweek money chat. Now this week is kind of a review. We've looked at this topic before and it's all about all those things that you can do to stop being poor in 2024. But we've called this Getting Poorer, and this is part of this disclaimer that we're going to start with. Incomes are not keeping up with the expense rises. I don't care what job you've got. I can't think of anybody whose income has increased by 50%. Food has increased by 50% in the last few years. Bills have doubled. Rents have doubled. Mortgage rate increases are incredible. And people's incomes are just not keeping up with that. So what we do with frugal living in times like this, it's damage limitation. And that's what we're talking about today. So we're going to run through things today as quickly as we possibly can. If any of them resonate with you in any way, make sure that you hit that like button. Let's get going. Take your lunch and your own coffee to work. If I reflect back to 2018 when Michael and I were still in the workplace, if we had a meal deal from the supermarket each day, which meant a sandwich, a soft drink, a piece of fruit or a bag of chips from the supermarket for €3, and we picked up a coffee from Starbucks on the way in, that would be €5 each. And if you total that up to 5 days a week and all the weeks we worked a year, if we had bought our lunch, it would have been $2,400 a year. So by taking our own lunch and coffee to work, we effectively saved $2,400 a year. Go generic. Now we are great believers in buying generic, and I put a disclaimer in there, unless you absolutely can't stand it. And our example of that is instant coffee, but everything else we're cool with. If you can go generic, it will save you a massive percentage on your supermarket shop. Don't waste food. Across many modern countries, tens of thousands of tons of food end up in the dustbin every single day. Go through your fridge and your cupboards and look at what you need to eat first. So go for the fresh produce first, eat up the salad first, then go for the fresh vegetables, go for the fruit first. Look at ways, and I know many of you share below, how do you make your fresh produce last so it doesn't go off, and how do you reduce your food waste? Create a shopping list and stick to it. Before you even think of going shopping, make sure that you do your stock check, that you see what you have, and you meal plan from what you have first. And then only step out of the door when you've got your shopping list ready. And in case you're like me and you ever forget it, take a photograph of your shopping list with your mobile phone, and you've always got the picture there in case you forget to take the shopping list with you. And when you get to the store, you need absolute tunnel vision to go in there and think to yourself and hear this and remember this. If it's not on the shopping list, it's not going in the shopping trolley. Shop and eat seasonally. Now there are some times of the year when we can only afford to buy lamb, and that's around Easter time. It's not only in season, but it is in a seasonal sale. And you might only buy things like turkey and ham in a certain season. Vegetables have a season. This time of year, if your potatoes are sprouting, it's because they came out of the ground last year and they are at the end of their niceness, their freshness right now. But shop seasonally. It will save you money. Food is really expensive, so when we have our meals, we need to fill up on those things that are nutrient dense, keeping us full up for longer and don't cost very much. And that, of course, is vegetables, our vegetables. So fill up your plate with vegetables. We like to go for 4 to 6 vegetables on our plate with every single meal, and it just keeps us full up, and it's cheap nutrition and it's healthy food on a tight budget, but we get ourselves a good meal by filling up our plate with all those extra vegetables. Buy in bulk if it makes sense for you and your family. Disclaimer, we don't have the type of stores that exist in some countries where you can go in with a huge shopping trolley and buy massive sacks or bags of anything, or great big pots of sauce, for example. We don't have that here. There's a couple in Paris. I think there's places like Lyon and Marseille, but we are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles from those places, so it doesn't make sense for us. But if it does make sense for you and it is economical for you to go and buy, let's say, 400 toilet rolls all in one go because you've got a very big family and you get a really good deal, make it make sense for you. Analyze the sales cycles. Now, this was my New Year's resolution this year, and it is really paying off. I'm making sure I'm absolutely on top of all of the sales, the supermarkets and other retailers. For example, the garden sales, the charity shop sales, they're all having sales, and I'm recording when they are. I'm looking at the big offers coming up. I'm always looking 1 to 2 weeks ahead of the supermarket sales, and I'm keeping a record of that. And I'm making sure I'm only shopping those sales. But by analysing them, I'm making sure they are the sales that are right for us. Stock check your house. Now, we always stock check our food, don't we? We always stock check our freezer, our fridge, our pantry before we shop for food. Well, let's stock check our house for everything else. We also stock check our food, don't we, to eliminate waste. Let's stock check our house so we eliminate waste. Do you have craft materials? Do you have DIY materials? Toiletries, cleaning products, pet products, garden produce, products, garden equipment. Make sure that before we buy another garden trowel or garden spade, that we know where all of them are and we're using them up. So there's a good thing, and you can systematically go through your house, your basement, any other areas of your house, your shed, your garage, anywhere like that, your barn, systematically going through and stock checking and using up what you have. Preventative household maintenance. This is where that you can do the regular checks of your property. Do you have any drafts getting in anywhere? Why? Are your doors or windows not fitting? Have you got any leaks anywhere? Can you see watermarks down your walls? Do your gutters need unblocking? Can you see your gutters? We've got attic windows, you might have them. Can you see your gutters? Can you get up there on a ladder? Can you pay someone to get up there on a ladder if you can't use ladders? Your preventative maintenance also for your garden machinery. The great thing that people say in any kind of engineering is run up and test. And that means from when you stop using your garden equipment at the end of the autumn, every single week, your strimmers or your weed whackers or whatever you call them, or your lawn mowers, your sit-on mower, your push lawn mowers, anything like that, every single week, start the engines on them, run them up to the final amount of revs that you can get on them, the highest amount of revs you can get on them, leave them running for 5 minutes and then switch them off again. Do that all winter and they'll keep going for you in the spring. And that also means around your house as well, check for anything that could have a problem, from drooping taps to blocked drains, but regular preventative maintenance. Renovate wisely. The upkeep of the renovations on our property is really expensive. If your windows and doors are made of wood and they are painted, renovate wisely. Keep things sanded down. Don't let the paint flake. Sand, fill and paint. I think it's simple enough for any of us, even me, even I can do that. If you've got a house like ours and everything is simply painted, make sure that you have a renovation cycle. So every year another room gets a coat of paint, so you have the upkeep of your house and you renovate wisely. Saving energy, and one of the most expensive things that we have to do is heat our house. For many of you, some of the most expensive things will be to cool your houses. And this is somewhere you could reduce it by 10%. Now, lots of people talk about turning the thermostat down with cooling, turning it up by a margin of 10%. But we can reduce it by reducing the running time by 10%. Now, at the weekends, we used to run our heating on a Saturday and on a Sunday for 5 hours a day. And 5 hours a day was 300 minutes. So 10% of that is 30 minutes. And to make that bearable, we would switch the heating on 15 minutes later and turn it off 15 minutes earlier, thereby reducing our energy costs, our heating costs, by 10% a day. Nurture your frugal hobbies. All those people out there who do things like going running or going walking, going hiking, bike riding, crafting, all of those things, but they do it in a really affordable way. Any hobbies, gardening, crafting, can be made thrifty and affordable. But when we are doing these hobbies, we're not shopping, and that saves us money. Look up community classes in your area. We can go along to these community classes, whether in the daytime or in the evening, and some of them are really affordable, whether that's art, craft, exercise, yoga, Pilates, or language learning. We found language learning classes local to us that are €10 for the entire year. It gets us out of the house for a couple of hours a week, along to a language class, and think about that. That's 2 hours a week where our lights aren't on, we're not heating our house. Homemade gifts. Crafters, you've got craft materials in your house, take along a homemade gift. Gardeners, people absolutely love it if you turn up to their house and you've brought them some of your garden produce. Or you've gone to somebody's house and you've given them a gift when you get there, taking along some small homemade cakes or homemade cookies. People really appreciate homemade gifts. Leave a comment below. What homemade gifts do you take along to your friends? Let's talk savings. If your savings are automated, or you've got a standing order going out of your account on the payday, whichever payday that is for you, and that's going into your savings account automatically, in your head and in your heart, that amount of savings has become a bill. Not your money, it's gone to the savings account. A quick way to increase your savings every single month is to automate them. Build on your emergency fund. We really all need to do this as best we can. Lots of people have no emergency fund at all, and we need to, all of us, have as best we can, as much as we can. So whatever your emergency fund is, even if it's just a few hundred, try and add to that every single month. Getting away has become absolutely unaffordable for so many people these days. But people are always looking for house sitters and pet sitters. So if you wanted to, you could join an organisation like Trusted House Sitters, and you could then go and have homestays somewhere else for free. And it means you're not using your electricity, your water, your lighting, your heating, none of those things. You're using somebody else's, and you get to go and stay somewhere else for nothing. No spend challenges are a great way to build self-discipline into our budgeting. We've increased our no spend months this year from 3 to 6. Again, quite simply to mitigate the damage. It's just damage limitation to try and keep up with all of these increases when our income hasn't. Declutter. You might think to yourself, how is this saving me money? When your house has less stuff in it, when your house is less cluttered, you're more inclined to keep it like that. You're more inclined to not buy stuff and not bring it home. And let's face it, the less spending we do, the more saving we do. Back to that full cycle. Everything has increased. Everything. Our energy costs, our food costs, our insurances, our property taxes, everything has increased. Our incomes have not kept up with that. Yes, our incomes have increased, but like I said, it's not keeping up with it. So what we've talked about today and have a chat with you is about damage limitation. Share with us the damage limitation that you're doing to stop getting poorer. We always love to hear from you. We thank every single one of you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Suddenly, the world I used to know, I see it differently. You woke me from a dream, now here's reality. Baby, baby, you are really hurting me. 'Cause every time